And welcome everybody to tonight's Blues pregame show here on STL Sports. My name is Brandon. That's also Brandon. We're going to talk about how the Blues can take down the Detroit Red Wings tonight, and how they can jump the Minnesota Wild for the first spot in the wild card. So tune in with us. Appreciate you if you're watching, and let's get started. Welcome to STL Sports here. My name is Brandon again. That's other Brandon with me today. We're going to talk a little bit about the Blues taking on the Detroit Red Wings for the final time in the 2024-25 season. Little excitement behind tonight's game, more than just the opportunity to jump the Minnesota Wild for the first wildcard spot. You also get to see the debut of Jimmy Snuggerud.
Pretty exciting stuff.
Should be pretty exciting. I mean, there's a lot of hype behind him right now, in just the energy right now around the team, which is awesome. And by the way, stuff is red tonight because or stuff is red for this show because they're throwback tonight. So you're welcome.
Yep, we're repping the 95 clown jerseys.
Love it. So my favorite. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like them, but I personally like the look. I think it's cool. But
I didn't like them for the longest time, but the jerseys that kind of grown on me. I'm still not a big fan of the red in them, but I just call them the Ronald McDonald jerseys for the most part, or the clown jerseys.
That works. All right, let's jump into a little bit of this here. Let's talk about Jimmy Snuggerud and what he could bring to the Blues tonight, Brandon. If you got just your thoughts on what kind of energy it's going to bring to the team.
So I did have the pleasure of going to Centene yesterday for a little bit to watch Jimmy in practice with the Blues for the first time, and he looked really solid on the ice with the rest of the guys. He was quick on the puck whenever he was doing the 2-1 or like the 2-on-2 with. I know he did a few with Tetsier. He did a little scrimmage stuff here and there with Neighbors, Dvorsky, and some of the other guys. But I mean, it seemed like he knew where he needed to be at on the ice, when to be where he needed to be, and he just seemed like he had a lot of good hockey sense. And he's got a really good shot from not just from what I saw yesterday, but just from seeing clips and highlights of him in Minnesota, and just from his college games. And so, I mean, just seeing that and then seeing the pairings that he's going to be in with tonight, I feel like I think he could bring a lot of speed that line could use, because we already know Zach Bolduc is a pretty fast skater, especially with the puck, and getting up and down the ice with somebody like Jimmy Snuggerud could be beneficial for that line.
Yeah. I'll play this little clip here in just for a minute here. So about what Jimmy or what Snuggerud's thoughts are on joining the Blues at this point of the season.
Because a lot of movement, a lot of speed. It was fun. It was just great to get on the ice with the guys. Yeah, I mean, I feel like my game has developed over the past year a lot. Obviously, the speed is different, and guys in here want to win, and I think I have that winning mentality. I just want to win games, and I want to be here for them and be by their side. When they win hockey games. So that was kind of the most important thing for me, is just making that jump, knowing the mentality is it's hockey. There's no school anymore. It's just hockey, and you're here to win hockey games, and that's it.
I think where we're at right now with how hard guys are playing, what's been said in the locker room, I think guys catch on pretty fast. And, that's just playing, simple, hard for one another, being selfless and going out there and playing for your teammates. So, obviously that comes with winning, and guys are doing it for one another. So, I don't think it'll take him long, or it hasn't took Dvorsky long to catch on to kind of what this run's been about.
You dream of it as a kid. You obviously still don't know yet. But like I said, I'm playing for, everyone else in here. I'm here to win hockey games, and, I hope that's what I kind of entail on other guys. Is they're on the hottest, like I said, hottest team in the NHL, and I'm so lucky and grateful to be a part of it.
Again, that was just some thoughts from Jimmy Snuggerud. He's just as any rookie should be. The highly anticipated guy from Minnesota, or at least where he played with the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Super excited to see him on the ice tonight. I think it's going to be fun. He's on the third line with Bolduc and Sundqvist tonight, as well. Is it anything else that you could think of that I mean, he's going to wear outside of wearing 21. And he the funny part about that is going down the list, like they're like, here's a list of numbers that are available right now for you. He's going down that list, and he's just like, I just picked 21 because it was the first number on the list. He's like, I don't play for the number. I don't play for the number, the name on the back. I play for what's on the front. And those are the type of guys that you want in your locker room all the time, no matter rather they're first year player, first game, or if they've been there for 10, 15 years.
Yep. I mean, I don't really have a whole lot of other really comments outside of just it'll be interesting to see how he plays tonight. And I mean, whenever Dvorsky came in, you saw he had a lot of nerves for the first couple shifts that he had, but after that, you could see that he was putting a lot of effort, a lot of contributions into whatever line he was on at the time whenever he was on the ice.
Yeah.
And I feel like this, and going up against a team like Nashville and in the circumstances of that game whenever Dvorsky got put in, that was the third time that I think we played against the Nashville Predators, and it was already kind of getting a little bit of the dicey play into that game, because I think that was the third or the fourth time that we played them at that point in the season.
Yeah.
And this time it's the last game of the season that we're playing against the Detroit Red Wings, and they're not. I mean, they're kind of in the same boat as what Nashville is. They're not making the playoffs. They're more or less trying to make it a hard time for the Blues to advance further than what they already are. So, I mean, having that extra guy come in that nobody really knows all that much and just gonna make it a little surprise to the lineup and seeing what he can kind of shake up. It'll be interesting to see how things go, how much they utilize Snuggerud. I think if they come out and they does a pretty substantial effort, I think you could possibly see him play a little bit longer than maybe we saw Dvorsky did in his debut against Nashville. But I mean, it'll all be, I think, in the circumstances of the game, how the game is going, and if things go astray, then you probably won't see him as much. But it's all in how the game goes, I feel like.
Yeah, that's what I'd imagine. He's probably going to have anywhere between that 10 to 12 minutes of ice time being on the third line. I think it just depends on how this game goes. I mean, if you're gonna, Blues are up, say 3-4-0 after the second, you might get a little bit more ice time in the third, just to get him out there, to get more experience under his belt early on. I mean, I don't know how often we're going to see him, outside. I mean, we've only seen Dvorsky dress one time since he debuted the other night. So just going to depend. I know I believe Joseph is the guy that he's replacing on that third line, which he hasn't been. I mean, Matthew Joseph hasn't been, the greatest on the ice so far the last couple games. So it just makes sense. I said, it's just not been the greatest, not bad, but not awful.
Yeah,
not bad, but not awful. But it's, he is the guy that does get replaced in the lineup. Kind of look forward to holy crap, to tonight's game. In the debut of Jimmy Snuggerud as the St. Louis Blue.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be an interesting game. Other than that, I feel like they just need to continue what they've been doing for what they've been doing the last 9 games. They just got to stay their normal disciplined selves, get going early, and if they do, then just play the defensive game like we've been talking about the last several shows that we've been doing this for. Just stay defensive, stay disciplined, and then get shots on net. If you do that, then I feel like this team could easily come out with a win tonight against Detroit.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question to you. So, what's some of the keys for tonight? And obviously, staying disciplined, especially tonight. And you look at a Detroit team that has the third ranked power play, if I read that right. Look back here. Yeah, the third ranked power play in the NHL at 28.8%, almost 29%. But their penalty kill, Detroit's penalty kill is dead last in the league at 68.5%. Which the Blues aren't any better. I mean, when it comes to the penalty kill, they're 73%, so it's not any better necessarily. It's been getting better.
Yep.
But I mean, you gotta stay disciplined, stay out of the penalty box. Don't let Patrick Kane, don't let DeBrincat, don't let who else is there? Raymond, any of those guys, or Raymond's had 3 goals in the last 5 games too. So you keep Detroit out of the offensive side. Put that pressure on like you did Montreal the other day.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, if they can get into the zone, and if they can get kind of gritty with this team and cause Detroit to do stupid penalties like we saw with Colorado over the weekend on Saturday, that could be something too that gives this team a little extra plus or a little extra push, because that'll be a little bit extra time that you don't see Patrick Kane, Alex DeBrincat, Dylan Larkin all getting up into our defensive zone and getting pucks on net, and that's more time in their defensive zone that the Blues can be trying to get that much more of a lead or that much more offensive time for this team, so that way we're not back on defense.
Right. Yeah. So real quick, next little thing that I want to ask is, what players or player, we just stick with one player to watch for tonight, in tonight's game for you?
I think it's a simple question, a simple answer. I think the player to watch for tonight, I feel like, is going to be Jimmy Snuggerud. I mean, getting his NHL debut tonight, I feel like that's going to be the person or the player that everybody is going to be kind of keeping an eye out for whenever he's on the ice, to see how well or how good he plays, and just see how the matchups are going to be with him and Oscar Sundqvist and Zachary Bolduc, because I feel like that line, you already have 2 pretty dangerous lines with your first line and second line.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're adding a little bit more speed to the third line, especially Zachary Bolduc, I feel like that's just one more piece that's going to add to having 3 dangerous lines on top of having that fourth line that's that gritty, tough, get in your face type of line. So we could see it probably equal out to being good matchups for the Blues. I feel like that's going to be the guy that you're going to want to watch.
Yeah. I think it'll be that's definitely one of the names that anybody should, whoever gets to watch the game tonight, if you get to, look out for 21 in Jimmy Snuggerud. For me, I think I'm gonna have to go with Buchnevich again. I think it's coming off a big game in Colorado, on was it Saturday?
Saturday.
How to have him return back to the lineup was such a critical thing for the Blues, to have that veteran side of things again, and his goal scoring ability when he does have the puck. He's a difference maker on the ice, in the offensive zone, in the defensive zone as well. Yep. So I think for me, it's Pavel Buchnevich. As much as I want to say Robert Thomas, who's been lights out for the last 5 games, 5 to 8 games as well.
Yep.
To have Buchnevich back on the ice for the Blues is extremely key right now.
Yep, and Robert Thomas, I think, is the only Blue coming into this game with a point streak, and I think he's got 5 games, a 5-game point streak going on right now. So he's
had 10 assists in his last 5 games. So
yeah, he's a hot hand right now for the Blues, and hopefully he can keep that magic going tonight against the Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah. So look at tonight's lineup for the Blues. Let me pop this up here. Hold on. Just typing it out. Hold on. 3, 2, 1. And boom, bang, boom. Blues lineup for tonight. You get on the first line that hasn't changed. You get Jake Neighbors on the left, Robert Thomas, and then Buchnevich on the right. I think that's how, if I'm looking at it right. Yeah.
Yep.
Second line, you get Dylan Holloway on the left side, Braden Shin as your second line center, and Jordan Kyrou over on the right wing. Third line, you get Bolduc, the left wing, Oscar Sundquist, center for this one tonight, and then Jimmy Snuggerud to the right wing, and then the fourth line you're looking at Torpchenko, Fosca, and Walker, the WTF line. Look for that line to have a big game tonight in what should be a decently physical game for the St. Louis Blues. For at least for tonight's game. On the defensive side of things, you get Cam Fowler, Nick Leddy, no Colton Parayko yet. But I understand that he's got to be close at this point in time. I don't see how he's that much farther off. Second defensive pairing, you got Broberg and Falk. Third one is Tucker and Suter, and you got Bennington in net for the St. Louis Blues tonight as they take on the Detroit Red Wings.
Sweet. Yeah, I think it was yesterday or today that I saw that he is still skating with the team, and from what I think I heard or from what I saw is that he could be possibly rejoining the team next week. Yeah. I think on the game, what is it? I think it's Monday or Tuesday next week is whenever they play next, or like following this week.
Yeah.
So I think that's when I heard that he might be joining the team back again.
Yeah, which would be awesome to have Colton Parayko back in the lineup. Just his size and physicality is going to be a difference maker there. Even with how good the Blues defense has been over the last 10 games, it'll be nice to have Parayko back in the lineup.
For sure.
So, any final thoughts on the game tonight as we things up here?
No, I don't have anything else. It'll be an interesting game to watch, and looking forward to watching it.
Yeah. So again, thanks for joining us here today on our Blues pregame show as they take on the Detroit Red Wings. Snuggerud's debuts tonight, and the Blues have an opportunity because Minnesota lost last night to New Jersey in overtime. They have the opportunity to jump the Minnesota Wild for the first wild card spot, which would put them to play if the playoffs were to start. They play the Vegas Golden Knights in round 1 of the playoffs. So make sure to tune in tonight's game. It's on FanDuel Sports Network, ESPN, but blackouts apply, of course. Surprise, surprise. Or you can listen to it on 101 ESPN with your man Chris Kerber as well. So thanks for tuning in, and we appreciate it. Don't be afraid to hit the subscribe button here, and we'll catch you later.
See ya.